This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on this Football Friday? One of the last Football Fridays of the year, unfortunately. Welcome in. You're watching the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. You're checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel. I am also on my own social media machines at Joe Gaither 6, or you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. We appreciate you doing that. We're live in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios with my friend Abby the dog and my friend Mason Woods. You can follow Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. He's been up all night long writing recruiting rundowns for all the Walsh Writing Network sites. We will pick his brain for the Alabama specific topics. But if you want to hear about Miami or Missouri or Boston College, you can read all the recruiting updates as well from Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine and on those respective Walsh Writing Network websites. Gonna have a fun Football Friday in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios, hanging out right here. It looks like they're doing a little bit of construction outside. Yeah. Hope they're doing well. Derek always making the office look a little bit better. You can call Derek today at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. That's once again 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Call Derek today and see how much he can save you. As we get into a Football Friday, Alabama going on its last SEC regular season road trip of the year. Mason Woods, let's just start right there. How'd you grade Alabama on the road this year? You go up to the road. It's not the SEC, but just smack Wisconsin. You go up to Nashville, and oh my gosh, what a surprise. Unbelievable disaster. You lose to Vanderbilt. And we all kind of expected Tennessee to be a struggle, but you go up to Neyland Stadium, and those 105,000, 110,000, some odd thousand rabid fans make it really difficult for you, and you lose. But then you go down to Baton Rouge, and you skull drag. That's just absolutely drag LSU up and down the football field.
Pick them up by their nostrils, throw them out of the stadium.
Right. And it was empty. It was the classic Nick Saban. We're going to empty the stadium by the fourth quarter. It was empty. It was an Alabama home game by the end. And so now here we are. The last road test. What is that? You're 2-2. Am I missing any road experiences?
No. I think that LSU win carries a lot of weight. I think going to Baton Rouge, which you and I know, everyone that watches college football knows, is possibly the hardest place to play in the country, if not the hardest. It's definitely in the top 3. And just absolutely obliterating them, just dismantling that team from top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams, everything. I think that carries a lot of weight. The loss in Neyland is tough to Tennessee. The loss at Vanderbilt is obviously bad, but I don't know, maybe it's just recency bias, but to me, getting a win in LSU, in Baton Rouge, in such a hostile environment that everyone knows is such a hostile environment, that's really galvanizing, and that can mean a lot moving forward. I just think, I think it almost cancels out. I don't want to say it cancels out, but I mean, it almost does kind of cancel out some of the other road losses, I would think.
Okay, yeah. It doesn't cancel them out, but
in a way, maybe.
All right, it's an A performance against Wisconsin. It's easily what? It's an F against.
That's an F against. Offense put up 35 points, but that didn't really.
Right. It's an F against Vanderbilt. The result remains, no matter how the offense played, you still had the 2 turnovers. You never made a single stop really defensively. And up in Knoxville, C minus.
Yes, I think you get a C because I think the defense still played well in that game. Obviously, Dylan Sampson kind of had his way on the ground a little bit, but
turned the football over twice.
Yeah,
once at the beginning.
Defense made some plays in that game. Defense kept them in it, kept them in a position to be able to win the game. Offense just couldn't really hold up their end of the bargain. So, yeah, I think they get a C.
C. I'll go C minus just for the sake of that. So what's that average? C minus, F, and A. That basically brings you to a C plus, essentially a C. And then you have the LSU performance, which is an A plus plus, which is basically a 98, 99, almost 100.
That's an AP course too. So you're getting like that 4.3 for it.
So you bump your average from C plus to B plus, B or so on the road. This is a big look. This is a big opportunity to show that those early season September and third Saturday in October. It was October 5th. October 5th and October 20 something. But not September at all. Those two October games is a big opportunity this weekend to show that these two October games were maybe an outlier to show the committee that these were
100%.
This is a different Alabama team.
Yeah, I talked down on the Sooners a little bit yesterday. They're obviously Oklahoma has struggled this season. The injury bug has bit that entire program. Say what you will about the way they performed on the field, but their record is what it is. Norman, Oklahoma is still a very difficult place to play. Those fans will be there. They will be very excited to watch the Sooners. They are every Saturday, so that's still an impressive road victory. Say what you will about the team, that environment, that location, that's a tough place to play.
Their capacity, Gaylord Memorial Family Stadium, is, what do you think it is, Mason? What? Give me a guess before I'll tell you what it is.
85.
All right, that's a really good guess. 80. 80,000 people since 2019. I guess their record was 88,000 in 2017. I guess there maybe were some renovations in between there. So 80,000 fans.
Boomer Sooners.
Oh, it's going to be tough, I think. Look, their season has not gone well.
Do you think the wagon's going to fall over before this game?
No,
because that's your dead indicator right there of how the day's going to go. If the Sooner wagon falls over, Oklahoma's done.
No, I think I'm looking forward to seeing that, actually.
That's one of the, to me, that is one of my favorite traditions.
What do you think their security is going to be like? Because Wisconsin security, I was on the field almost until kickoff. For all of Alabama's pregame warm-ups, cool. I was standing there right next to Jalen Milroe, and I know they were probably like, who the heck? Get the heck out. But no security people told me.
I don't know. Maybe, I've not had really any experience at all covering any road games, so I don't really know what it's like place to place, but I would think maybe they take it a little more seriously in Oklahoma than they do in Wisconsin, potentially.
Right. So in Alabama, you've been there. At Alabama, they let you on the field. They only let you on the field with 6 minutes to go in the game. For us, we can't be on the field until all the way till late in the game, which is fine. Whatever. We wish it was earlier, but okay. It is what it is. I
imagine you'll maybe see something kind of similar to that.
All right.
They're just a guess. While their record is bad, Oklahoma still takes himself very seriously as a powerhouse in college football. So, I think they'll probably
blue blood. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Massive win streak in the 50s, right?
I think their status as blue blood has waned a bit in the 2000s, maybe. But, they had the Sam Bradford years where they were pretty good. Had the Baker Mayfield years. Kyler Murray got you almost there. So, they've been in the mix.
Yeah, 949 wins all time. They won 31 bowl games. They're 0-4 in the playoff. Goodness gracious, in 4 playoff appearances. 7 national titles, 10 unclaimed national titles. Excuse me. Yeah, blue blood to me.
I would say so.
Abby is just chewing the heck out of this backpack strap. It's fine if she's chewing the strap. There's a buckle on it that I can't let go, that I don't want her to chew up to break the buckle.
Yeah,
her daggone pit bull jaws will break the buckle, and then my bag will be ruined. The rest you can the end of the strap, whatever, no big deal. So look, you're going up against Oklahoma this weekend, and like we've been alluding to, they've been struggling this year. They're 1-5 in conference. Their only win is at Auburn. We appreciate you for that. You beat Auburn. Peyton, was that the game that Peyton Thorne threw a terrible interception at the end?
Yes, it was.
It was a pick 6 down the sideline. Yeah, I think it was. But you basically
Auburn should have won the
game. They've been saying that all year.
Yeah.
Tennessee. The score, Tennessee only beat you by 10, but I remember watching that game. Tennessee was in total control the entire game. Texas, you were never in it, 34-3. South Carolina, 35-9. You're never in it. Ole Miss, I remember you're in it, but I didn't watch the game. It's 26-14. It's a 12-point game. I remember as a halftime, I believe Oklahoma was leading at halftime. But I didn't watch it live, so I don't remember really. Ole Miss having really a whole lot of control. I know they came back and won, and then Missouri just was just like a calamity of errors at the end of the game, fumbles, and just couldn't take care of the football.
That game looked like MACtion.
Right. Oh yeah. It was old school Big 12 football right there between two Big 12 teams. So Mason, you're sitting here and they're 5-5, 1-5 in the conference. They've got Alabama and at LSU left to get to 6 wins and get to a bowl. Basically, will Oklahoma get to a bowl?
I don't think they will. I don't believe that they will. I think I think Alabama goes out and handles business this weekend. And we talked about this on the show yesterday. They've not really given me any reason to be concerned with them. They just Oklahoma's not shown me much to be impressed with this year. You know, the offense has had very limited spurts where they've looked okay, but there's never been a consistent stretch where this team has impressed me one way or the other. I think the only thing that you can maybe point to on Oklahoma's team that is somewhat solid is their front seven. I think I don't remember what the exact number is, but they've got a lot of tackles for loss this year, a decent amount of sacks. But the secondary has struggled. The offense has struggled. It's just the whole team has struggled. So I don't think they're really going to pose much of a threat to Alabama. And then going to LSU, that's tough. It's Baton Rouge. I don't, like I just said, for the same reasons I don't think they can beat Alabama, I don't think they can go into Baton Rouge and win a game.
They're really, really beat up. They've got 1, 2, 3 wide receivers listed as out on the injury availability report. They've got 2 defensive backs listed as out. They've got 3 offensive linemen listed as out. They've got their best wide receiver, Deion Burks, is listed as doubtful, so he might be out. It's just been really, really beat up all season long. And so it's made it really, really challenging on Jackson Arnold and on Michael Hawkins to play quarterback. I think we see them both over the weekend, even though Michael Hawkins hasn't played in a game in a couple of weeks. I wonder if you get a little, we knocked Jackson Arnold out for a series or two. I'm not really, I'm excited to go. I'm really dreading the logistics. I'm really, really dreading the logistics of getting out there. But I'm not quite nervous about it. Should I be respecting the opponent more? Is my question. Should I be giving, look, we just said it, blue blood program. Yes, sure. First year in the SEC, but this is a proud, how many Heisman Trophy winners, and you've been dominating the Big 12 forever and ever. I know Texas pokes their chest out, but it's really Oklahoma with all the conference championships. Am I underestimating the possibility of an upset? I mean, I was in Nashville for the Vanderbilt upset.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain to think of ways to try to play the opposite side here and find something to say good about, but it's just,
I've thrown you in the Max Kellerman position here.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard for me to really point to anything about this Oklahoma team is overly impressive. I mentioned just a minute ago, the front seven's pretty legit.
Right, on defense, their pass defense is not.
But the pass defense has been pretty atrocious. I don't think that what they do good doesn't really match up against what Alabama does bad necessarily. Bama will be fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry to talk over you right there.
No.
I think that you're absolutely right. The front seven is strong. I mean, you look at the rush defense. I think that I saw they were 18th, 13th in the country in rushing defense, but the 55th in passing defense. And they came into the season with pass defense being their thought was going to be their strength. Billy Bowman Jr. being their safety, and he's had a pretty good year, but he's only one guy back there. You've got Danny Stutzman playing inside linebacker, but he's more of I'm going to come up and run stop you than playing the pass coverage,
kind of that old school type.
So really, I mean, now could we be in for a Jalen Milroe 47 passes on the road and Milroe only hits 18 of them? Could that be the recipe
That
for
could-
that? For
Yeah.
if you're getting the same looks that Tennessee gave you, loaded boxes. Oh, I've got to move to my passing plays just because. Look, football 101. Take what the defense gives you. If they got loaded boxes, call some passing concepts. What are the chances of us running into another night where Jalen Milroe is on the road and he's dialing up over 35 passes? Yeah, I think if it's 35 or more, that's probably a problem for Alabama. But if he's dialing up 35 or more, like, what are the percentages that that's going well for Alabama?
Yeah, I don't love the way that sounds. I will say, that's maybe the one kind of way that I think Oklahoma can gain some traction in this matchup is if they can not even force them with loading, but just make Kalen DeBoer and Jalen Milroe think that they have to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. Because me and you talked about it after the Tennessee game. Like, even if you're facing a loaded box, sometimes you just need to hammer the ball. Sometimes you just need to hammer the rock. It just is what it is. And I think that they got in a little bit of that where it was like Kalen DeBoer sitting there, Nick Sheridan's looking at the offense or looking at the defense saying, what are we supposed to do? Running against 9 guys in the 8 guys in the box. So I don't know. I would think that they maybe learned their lesson from that Tennessee game a bit and, figured some things out these last few weeks with hammering the ball in some times where they're just it seems like there's been some stretches over the last few games where Alabama's just decided, hey, we're going to beat you physically, and this is the way we're going to do it. Suck it up. I would think maybe that's the lesson they took from that Tennessee game. So hopefully that's what they move into Norman with, if that's kind of the looks Oklahoma gives. But if they don't, I still feel okay because Oklahoma's pass defense has been bad this year, and Alabama has good receivers. If Jalen Milroe can just not try to force home run balls, even if he's throwing the ball 35 times a game, if a lot of those are quick hitters underneath, quick hitters to the outside, just getting the ball into playmakers' hands, I'm okay with that. I think we can still win that way.
And even with that strategy, as you're talking, and you're absolutely right, you're still counting on Jalen Milroe having an off night missing, like he did in Tennessee. Like, okay, you can't tell me Ryan Williams wasn't open most of those 21 targets.
Yeah.
He had some misses, and that's what it just is what it is. Mm-hmm. And Jalen would tell you that himself. I don't know. He's obviously not like the most accurate quarterback that's ever played the game, but I think that's an off night. I think that was indicative of, that's a little worse than he probably is. I think that you're counting on him. If you're going into, if Oklahoma's thinking, okay, we're going to try to make you pass the ball 35 or more times and try to just live and die, try to catch an interception or two and try to count on you missing. I don't think that's I don't know if that I would feel like very solid in that strategy.
I mean, Milroe's completing
because of this. What you've seen over the last 2 weeks, what you've seen since the Tennessee game, not that he hasn't had deep shots missed. I mean, he had 2 deep shots missed against LSU.
Mm-hmm.
The Caleb Odom shot against this past week against Mercer. So he's had deep shots missed. But what's been different over the last couple of weeks is than this. It's tight end in the flat zinger. Right here, 4 yards, zipper, just getting the ball right out. Oh, check down to the running back in the flat. Oh, check it right out here to Kendrick Law. You've seen a lot more of that. And so it's like, if I have to hit these passes 30 times, okay. I think he can do that a lot more.
I agree. I think people maybe point to that Tennessee performance and want to kind of label that as Jalen Milroe when it really, if you look at his whole body of work, that is an outlier. I mean, he's completing almost 70% of his passes this year. He's been fairly accurate for the most part. He has some bad misses here and there, but overall, he's been a good quarterback. And give the man his credit. I think if he is tasked with doing that, I feel confident that he can handle that.
All right, before we get even more into this this Oklahoma game, we're going to come back to the Oklahoma game. We're going to talk about keys to Alabama's victory, and we're going to talk about 3 players to watch. We'll do each of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to take a detour into yesterday's college football news, if you can, and talk about recruiting. So before we tell you about if you're not a recruiting head, that's a-okay. But really, everyone and their mother was tweeting about it. We will talk about the big Bryce Underwood story here in just a moment. But first, let me tell you about our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing. They're the most reliable residential roof replacement company in Alabama and Mississippi. Purple Turtle Roofing, whether it's addressing leaks, storm damage, or general wear and tear, Purple Turtle Roofing is going to be there to deliver exceptional roof repair for your property. Purple Turtle Roofing is the leading expert in local residential roofing solutions, specializing in providing unparalleled service and quality craftsmanship for all your roof replacement needs. Call Dustin Foley and his team today at 877-PT-ROOF-5 for a free roof inspection. That's 877-787-6635 to schedule your appointment, and one of their qualified employees will come check out your roof for free and make sure you're prepared for any and all of life's storms. You can check them out online today at roofturtle.com, or better yet, just go ahead and call them and tell them that the Joe Gaither Show sent you at 877-787-6635. All right, so we appreciate Purple Turtle Roofing for sponsoring the program. Once again, we are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios right here off of McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek and his team today. Red, Reese, and Victoria are hard at work. They'll be happy to take your call. 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm and Derek Daniel is there. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason Woods, what would you do if you had $12 million? 12 million smackaroos.
Ooh-wee. I'd go get me a nice plot of land somewhere real remote. I'd build me a nice, beautiful home, install a bunch of solar panels, run me my own water lines, get me a big well, and I'd just go off the grid.
Oh, man. Well, that's a great answer. You wouldn't buy a quarterback? You wouldn't buy a quarterback for the Crimson Tide or for your favorite college football program?
Oh man, no, that's a good way to spend it too. I think maybe some people have done that. I gotta go.
Underwood. Woo-wee. Bryce Underwood. Let's make sure I have all my numbers right here as I BRYCEBRY. Oh my gosh, I can't type with one hand. BRY.
5-star plus.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. We want to take you from Bellevue, Michigan.
Hometown kid.
Number one quarterback in the country. Number one quarterback in the state of Michigan. Number one player in the entire class of 2025. Was committed for a long, long time to the LSU Tigers. But yesterday, he announces he's flipping to Michigan. Now, couple of tea leaves before we get to yesterday's news.
Mm-hmm.
What, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 10 weeks ago, somewhere in that range, Dave Portnoy, president, co-founder, CEO, big boss man, head dog at Barstool, business genius. Well, you can feel however you want to feel about Barstool, but business genius.
He's made himself a lot of money.
Yes, absolutely. So Dave Portnoy says, I'm a Michigan man. I want to see Michigan play well. I love Michigan. This year's season's hurting my heart. I liked last year's season a whole lot better when we were kicking everybody in the teeth. Obviously, I've got a lot of money. I've got some play money. It will make my heart happy to see Michigan do well. Let me throw my hat in the NIL ring. He says, I will pay top. He said, I will pay top dollar. Oh, with the new Northeastern accent. Dollar for a quarterback. He's not that Boston.
He's pretty good though,
and mine is not really that good. But boom, says I'll pay top dollar for a quarter. I don't care. Year in and year out, I will put up the money for Michigan to have a good quarterback. All right, keep going. A week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, Bryce Underwood is committed to LSU still and says, I'm turning down. I've been offered $10.5 million. I'm turning it down. I'm staying with LSU. Now, yesterday flips to Michigan. And Matt Moscona of ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge says he's hearing that Bryce Underwood's getting a $12 million NIL deal to go to Michigan. first reaction is what, Mason? Is it worth it?
I mean, if I'm being totally honest, my first reaction was like, I don't even know if it's true, but let's just assume this is what's happening. First reaction to that being the case, good God. You better hope he's dang good. You better hope he is good.
6'3", 205 pounds. People say he is the closest quarterback prospect to Cam Newton that we have ever seen.
I don't know about that. I've not seen a ton of Bryce Underwood, but the little bit I have seen sure doesn't look like Cam Newton. Just body type wise, I don't think he's quite got that frame that Cam Newton had. I think that's maybe a little wishful thinking. $12 million. That is preposterous. And I am all in the camp that these kids deserve money. They deserve to be paid. They work their butts off, put their lives on the line virtually every Saturday for these colleges or, whatever sport they play. They put their bodies on the line for these schools that after 3-4 years kind of don't really care about them anymore. So you deserve everything you're getting. But man, that seems like a bad investment. That's a lot of money to throw at someone that you have not seen anything from at the collegiate level.
Now, obviously, he's not getting all $12 million up front.
I'm assuming that's going to be three,
some sort of structure. I mean, obviously, maybe a little more, a little less, depending on the year.
But wow, that's just an awful lot of money to lock into something that you are not 100% sure about. The jump from, I don't know what Michigan high school football looks like. I'm sure it's pretty competitive, but man,
let's say he is the best quarterback in America in this class. Is it worth it? I mean, you got to think about
probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what's the name of the game right now in college football? Look at all the playoff contenders. You got a quarterback. You either got a quarterback or you don't.
How many of them are transfers too? Like,
right.
That they have been, bought.
I think that
I think it's definitely worth it.
Let's dive into the next narrative. You see, you're killing college football. I mean, you're furthering. I mean, every time one of these things happen, you're killing. And I'm just like, that's such a joke.
This is different monetary figures being thrown around to me is virtually no different than, well, look at how nice our weight room is. Look at all these big TVs we have. We got an ice tub. We got a hot tub. There's no difference there. This is just instead of a school blowing money on things like that, they're just going to give it right to the kids anyway. It's the same transaction happening. Let's look big picture here. This has been happening for decades in college football. As long as I have watched the sport, it has just been an arms race to see who can have the greatest facility so that we can lure more kids in who can, this is no different. It is the same it has always been. It's just the right people are getting money now and people are angry. I don't know. I will never, ever even understand the perspective of, it's they don't deserve that money. They do. They do deserve the money because they make that money for the schools that they play for. You're the one that pays to watch it. If you don't want them to make that kind of money, stop watching it. Sorry.
They get a scholarship, Mason. They get to go to math class for free.
Mm-hmm. A math class that will be utterly useless to them by the time they're getting drafted in the NFL in 3 years.
They get to go to history class for free.
It's just ridiculous.
As we're going, this is not really a part of the show or not, but my Twitter is going crazy because the Giants are officially releasing Daniel Jones.
Whoa! What?
My Twitter notifications are going.
That actually is crazy. Daniel Jones, the highest paid scout team safety ever.
And now my dog has officially ripped off part of this strap. That's A-okay.
Maybe that's for the best, though. Now she can focus on that.
She can have it just to herself. And
that actually, I know this is a college football, Bama sports show. Man, Daniel Jones, them actually releasing him is pretty wild.
Burning a lot of money there. Hey, now here's the tie.
Clearing the room for who.
Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe in the first round. Jalen Milroe pick number 8. What are the current draft odds right now? NFL current.
I saw
within
this week. I have seen
25.
The PFF mock drafts are starting to get
Giants
posted on Twitter.
Third. So what you do with that pick, New York, is you trade down to about 8. You get you some more picks.
Get you an extra second.
We're going to take ourselves a little alien quarterback, Jalen Milroe, and get ourselves. They said, "Oh, we see what you do in Philadelphia with that tush push, with that bush push, with that."
And at worst, with Jalen Milroe, you're getting Taysom Hill.
Truth,
I
man.
mean, come on, like that's the floor for Milrow.
Are you taking Taysom Hill at 8 overall in the draft? Though?
I mean, he's been pretty dang productive. I think Milrow is a
tight end, buddy.
is a very, very intriguing prospect. A lot of teams will fall in love with him from a just purely, he's just an athletic state. They're what they can do, what he can do, what we can do with him. It's going to be interesting. I could see him in blue. I could see him playing in New York. I don't know if he'd. I don't know how well. How would he do? Yeah.
No. How long would they last? Because he would have them in the asylum. He would have
Go Giants.
He would have them in the asylum just like he has me in a current asylum. Because what do I ask Jalen Milrow? What do I ask you, Jalen? Like, Jalen, please help me. Because if you see this, if your handlers see this, please help me. Because I want to ask you something good that gets a real answer. That gets an answer that doesn't receive.
What are you interested in, Jalen?
Like every Jalen Milrow interview question gets this. Well, it's all about preparation. You got to focus on your level of training. And, when you focus on your level of training, when the bullets start flying, when the live action happens, you fall back on your level of training. So if your training is good and you focus on the process and you go 1-0 every single day, then you'll be able to succeed. And I got to give a lot of credit to my teammates around me. My teammates, they're really putting in a lot of work. And I trust them. They're trusting me. It's all about trust. If you have trust on your team, then you can be successful. And it's just like, Jalen,
that's great. But
will you give me a real answer? Jalen, what did you see on that touchdown pass? Well, it's all about trusting your teammates and falling back on your level of training. On that touchdown pass, receiver X, we'll just say it's Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy, we ran that play a million times in practice, and he just did what we did in practice. And we just went 1-0 on that play, and we just have to continue to go 1-0 next week.
Did you see his appearance on the New Wave podcast?
No, was it better?
Not a whole lot. It was. I didn't watch the entire thing. I saw just the clips, mind you. But one of the clips I saw, it was Ryan Williams posing the question of who's got better food, Alabama or Texas?
Oh,
it was
yeah,
just Jalen Milrow. Oh, Texas. They have barbecue. They have fish. It was just like there was just not any emotion to it. Just very like I'm not going to ruffle any feathers.
They caught him on something with Jalen and Ryan Williams. They were at Pop Stroke right here in town. And for like 1 second, Jalen let his guard down. They said something about, what did you think when something like, what did you think when he threw one of the passes to Ryan Williams? And he was like, that boy down there somewhere. And like for a second, it's like, thank you.
You remember what was it last year? After I don't remember what game it was. I want to say it was the Iron Bowl game when he, the 4th and 31. He give me the Heisman. You hot mic. They catch him on the hot mic. Give me that Heisman. And like since then, it's just been nothing from Jalen.
I know you have a personality.
Yeah,
I want to get to know
just
it,
a little bit,
and I think it's cool. I think the Alabama fan base would love to know the real Jalen Milrow, not the sanitized quarterback version. I've gone through the Alabama quarterback sanitation system of Bryce Young, of H.A. wasn't as bad.
I was going to say, where did it start? I mean, it started all
Mac
the way
Jones,
back with,
Tua Tagovailoa. Tua is a great place where it might have started. Jalen Hurts.
Hurts is an AI chatbot.
Did you see Jalen after – did they play Monday Night Football this past week?
I believe so. Who did they play?
They played the Commanders, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was Thursday, I think. Last week, maybe.
Maybe it was last Thursday.
I think so.
He's on SVP.
Yes. What's that?
He's on late night after.
Got his sunglasses on.
He goes, you like that, Scott, don't you? He was like, oh, we gave y'all that business tonight, Scott. He was just like being so silly with Scott Van Pelt that I was just losing my mind.
I've never seen Jalen Hurts.
Somebody was like, this man is so concussed.
Yeah. Man, that was funny though. These Bama it's just the way it's gonna. I don't foresee.
I love them all, but I just want to know the real you.
Yes, and it's like
Jalen,
Since
what do
they-
I ask you?
Tua, you mentioned we kind of said that Tua was maybe the one that I feel like was the hardest, like the one that really this kind of started with. Since then, it's been like super hardcore. Every quarterback is just the exact same answer. every time you
Robot.
get- Yes. But like since Tua's gotten to the league, he shows a lot more personality in his interviews and things. It's very
Once he
interesting.
got that bag.
I guess that's what it was. You got to get that paycheck, and then you can show your other side a little bit. So maybe once the Giants draft Milroe, and in about 3 years, when they give him that second deal, we'll get to see the real Milroe.
That'd be a lot, dude. He can flip it around on the New York media. Oh. All right, let's get back to the Oklahoma game. Before we do, we need to thank our friend Derek Daniel once again for sponsoring the program. Derek and his team upstairs, Red Reese and Victoria, will be happy to take care of all your home, life, auto insurance needs, your renter's insurance, your boater's insurance, anything that you might need under the insurance umbrella. Derek and his team can take care of. Call them today at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. All right, Mason, let's go big picture. Let's go 3 keys, then we'll go 3 players to watch. So if I had to say your number one thing Alabama must do at Oklahoma to win is what?
Offensive line just has to play a clean game. I think you get Jaden Roberts back in the fold this week, hopefully, and I think you just have to see a clean performance. Keep Jalen Milroe clean, keep the pocket clean, let him work back there a little. Get the run game going, and just enforce your will on Oklahoma. That's what I need to see.
I like that. I like that clean, strong game. Impose your will from the offensive line. That's a really nice key. That probably would be in my top end of keys, absolutely. But not my number one. My number one is even more basic and dummy than that. I'm sorry to say that, but it's protect the football. Do not turn the football. End every drive in a kick. Period. With either James Burnip or Graham Nicholson. Period. Doesn't matter who. End every drive in a kick. Let James Burnip, a big boot, kick it all the way over those Oklahoma plains where the wind goes sweeping over the plains, or let Graham Nicholson, live or die. If you're going to put him out there, live or die with that result instead of a turnover.
Absolutely.
That's my number one key to the game. Number 2, Mason Woods would be.
I want to see the defense get after the quarterback some. I want to see the defense force Jackson Arnold, if he is out there, to make some hard throws. I want to see them force him off schedule, force him out of his rhythm, and maybe get some interceptions out of it.
I like that. I'm going to play off that. My number 2 will play off that in the sense that I want to see Alabama handle quarterback run. They're going to utilize Jackson Arnold a good bit, a decent amount. And because they know that Michael Hawkins is on the sidelines, and it's if you die, you die, son. Go in there and run. And Michael Hawkins can run as well.
Yeah.
I want to see them handle quarterback run well, especially design quarterback run. Haven't really done that this year. LSU didn't really even try a whole lot of that because Garrett Nussmeier's not that athlete. That would be because I think you're going to see a good mix of it through the game. And if you can basically take it away, if you can say Jackson Arnold right in your ear hole, bing, then you might take that away, and they might be scrapping a good 10, 15% of their playbook. And I think that would be very helpful. That would go a long way to winning. Mason Woods, number 3 for you is?
I think just getting the ball into your playmakers' hands quick and on early downs. Letting Jalen Milroe, not forcing him to do everything himself, letting him get the ball to guys who can make things happen in the open field. Get the ball out to your Ryan Williams, get the ball out to your Jeremy Bernards, get the ball to Jam out of the backfield, Justice out of the backfield if you want to, anybody. CJ Dupree up the seam if you want. Just do some things, I think, to get Jalen Milroe some completions early so that he gets his confidence rolling, and you can just snowball that to the rest of the game.
I love that. And I think that is a great key. I will play off at number 3 with staying in third and manageable situations. And that probably plays off your number 1 and number 3. You talked about offensive line efficiency and offensive line's attitude, and your number 3 getting the ball out quickly. I think that both of those things are going to be key factors in staying in third and short. You see it at LSU. When you're in 3rd and 2, you're in 3rd and 3, buddy, you can call anything you want. You can just hand it right off to Justice Haynes and let him just fall forward for a couple of yards. Or you can get into your quarterback boot action. You can do pretty much anything you want. And
Play
so
wide open.
I think that is my number 3 key to the game. So Mason Woods 1 through 3 for you again is really quickly, bam.
I need the offensive line to play well. I need the defensive line to get some pressure on the quarterback. And I need the offense to not ask Jalen Milrow to do everything himself.
Absolutely. I think number one I said was to not turn the football over.
Huge.
Number two.
QB runs.
Stopping quarterback runs. Thank you. And number three, we talked about staying in third and manageable. I didn't write any of these down, so that's why my blank spot. We're doing Football Friday on the fly because I think it's more fun that way and it's better that way. Let's talk about 3 players to watch. I won't put you on the spot as much with this, but let me pull up rolltide.com.
I think I got 3.
You got 3?
With, yeah.
You want to just go 1 through 3 and just take over for a couple minutes?
I got it. Okay, my number 1, and this ties in kind of what we talked about, getting the ball into your playmaker's hands. Ryan Williams. He had a bit of a bounce back last week, getting the touchdown. And I think when you look to what other teams have done against this Oklahoma secondary, specifically last week with Theo Weiss and Luther Burden both having good games, I imagine Ryan Williams eats this weekend. I think, I don't know that they're necessarily going to be just trying to bomb it to him, but just getting the ball in his hands, he'll be able to make some plays, I think, against this secondary. My next player to watch, going to the offensive line. Jaden Roberts, I mentioned him earlier, getting back in the fold this week. He had his bye last week, got to sit and watch his Geno Vandermark took the snaps at right tackle. But I'm excited to see him get back in the mix, get back in the fold. I think he is going to be even better now that he hopefully is fully healthy. And that's going to be a key to stopping Oklahoma's strong front seven because, like we said earlier in the show, that's about the only thing that they've done well this year.
Mm-hmm.
My last player, and this is someone I've been really high on all year, Damani Jackson. I think he gets another pick this week. Gets his second interception of the season. We've talked about it on the show. Jackson Arnold is loose with the football. He's a very wild quarterback. I think Alabama is able to get a little pressure and force him off of his rhythm, force him off of his schedule, and maybe he throws some errant passes, and Damani's the recipient of one of those.
I love those picks, honestly. I love those picks. Jaden Roberts, great pick. Jaden Roberts, when I wish he'd been healthy this whole year. Mm-hmm. And I think that even though he got the week off last week, which is helpful, I don't know that it's got him to 100%. I think it's got him closer,
but not to 85, 90 range, hopefully.
I'm going to go Malachi.
I like it.
I'm going to go Malachi Moore for all the reasons you said about Damani and getting a turnover. I think he's going to be able to sneak one in on Jackson Arnold, whether it be punching a ball out, a helmet on the right, a helmet on a ball, or baiting Jackson Arnold into a bad decision. So I think that's going to be a really important player for Alabama this week. And really, I'm going on the offensive line with you, but I'm going with Parker Brailsford for the simple matchup that he and Danny Stutzman. I mean, it's going to be those 3. It's going to be Roberts. It's going to be Brailsford and Booker, really, against Danny Stutzman. And I think Danny Stutzman, 28 for Oklahoma, is a top 2 or 3 linebacker in this conference. Really, really strong player. But again, you're just one of 11. It's hard to be everything. So I'm going to go with Parker Brailsford because I think that he's going to have to be. I think the 3 of them, and since you already took Roberts, I think that's a good pick. I think Brailsford's going to be really important, stopping the A-gap rush from your inside linebacker and getting out into run blocking patterns because Stutzman, I think, will be a torpedo and really try to mess some things up in the run game. So we're going Malachi Moore. We're going Parker Brailsford. Give me a skill guy. You took Ryan Williams. That's a great pick. I think that he probably will get into the end zone this week.
We haven't talked about the running backs at all.
Yeah, give me.
I'm not probably super active this week. Based loaded boxes. CJ Dupree.
Do I want Dupree or do I want Jammer Justice? That's what's in my head right now. Do I want CJ Dupree on some dump offs or do I want Jam and Justice? I think that I want Jam and Justice just because I think you're going to have that attitude. So we're not combining them into one player. We will take. I
think we
Justice.
Can honestly. I think we can kind of combine them.
Sure. But that's the easy way out, and we don't take the easy way out. We stand on business here. I'll take Justice this week. So I'm going Malachi Moore. I'm going Parker Brailsford, and I'm going Justice Haynes. All right, Mason Woods. That's going to pretty much do it. Let's look at the slate for the weekend before we get out of here. The whole slate as my college football scoreboard loads. Friday night, UNLV plays. We don't care. Indiana, Ohio State. What happens in this game? Indiana, week off.
What we need to happen will not happen.
Ohio State, an 11-point favorite. Are they going to sneak by with like a 3-point win?
No, I think it's going to be like a 14 to 17 point win, but I still don't think that's going to be enough to
17 to 0?
Maybe. I don't think that's going to be enough of a margin of victory to indicate to everyone that Indiana's not a real football team. I think if Ohio State goes out and wins by 40, Indiana, you're probably out of the playoff here, buddy. Sorry. But if anything, remotely close to where you can look at it and say, well, Indiana stayed in it, Indiana's probably going to hang right around where they are.
All right. Well, I
don't think they really have any chance to win.
I do. You lost Seth McLaughlin this week. Your center. You haven't had your left tackle in a couple of weeks now. Will Howard, I have no confidence in.
No,
I know that Jeremiah Smith is good. Yeah, he's very okay. That's very. I know their defense is strong. Abby's going to chew up her whole entire leash, and we're going to have to go get a new leash because she's not going to be able to go on a walk because of her badness right now. That's okay. I think they have a good chance. I think they cover the 11-point spread.
I certainly hope Indiana wins. I will be rooting for Indiana in this matchup. I am always one to root for underdogs in games. I just don't really think it's I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ohio State wins this one probably like 35-17.
Yeah, you're probably
maybe a late touchdown by Indiana to make it look a little closer than it was.
All right, how about Ole Miss, Florida? Is there any chance Florida gets them?
This is very interesting to me.
I think there is a chance Florida gets them.
I think there is too. And ooh-wee.
How Lane Kiffin, how Ole Miss would it be? We're right on the edge of the playoffs. We're right here.
You were dead. You lose to Kentucky, and it's, Lane did it again. This was your year. How could you do this, Lane? You blew it. And then a few things fall your way. You're right back in the conversation, and then you're right back out of it again. Ole Miss is absolutely on upset watch, and I think I'm going to take the Gators in this one.
All right, I'm taking Jackson Dart, but I think it's going to be ugly, and Ole Miss is going to win just like by the skin of their teeth, and everybody's going to realize maybe they're not a playoff team. You continue on. Nobody cares. UMass, Georgia, UTEP, Tennessee. We don't care. Kentucky, Tennessee, Penn State, Michigan. We don't care.
BYU, Arizona State.
BYU, Arizona State. There's
Sun Devils.
Interesting game to watch as you're warming up for Alabama, Oklahoma.
Interestingly enough, Arizona State favored in that game.
What does Vegas know? Vegas knows what we don't know. Colorado, Kansas. Colorado's favored by 3. Missouri, Mississippi State. Army, Notre Dame. Any chance that Army stays undefeated, knocks Notre Dame out of the playoff?
Unfortunately, I don't think
Notre Dame a 14-point favorite.
Yeah, I think this is where the storybook season unfortunately ends for Army. I hate it. I think Notre Dame probably rolls this game, similar to how they did against Navy. It's a great season for Army, but
sure, you lose to Notre Dame on the road.
It is
not a big deal.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame probably wins pretty easy. That 14, I feel pretty confident they probably covered that.
Texas A&M at Auburn. Does A&M keep their SEC championship hopes alive?
I don't know. Do they even realize they're playing this game this weekend?
Auburn needs to win twice to get bowl eligibility against A&M and Alabama.
That's a tall task. I don't even know if Texas A&M realizes they're playing Auburn this weekend. They're so focused on Texas. So I can't do it. I'm going to pick Texas A&M, but they might be on upset watch.
Aggies only a 2.5-point favorite. Oh yeah. I think Vegas knows that it's a trap game as well. And lastly, Iowa State at Utah. Utah having a really tough year. So a decent slate of college football this week. Any other SEC interesting games that aren't on the top 25 list? No. Well, actually, Vanderbilt at LSU with all the LSU consternation.
This could be good. This could be really good.
Does Diego Pavia
at LSU?
It's at LSU. LSU is 7.5-point favorite, 645.
That's gonna be a tough one for old Pavia to pull out. But LSU is in
Powerhouse
shambles
Vanderbilt.
right now.
Absolutely.
LSU is in shambles, and I don't really know that they have the resolve to climb out of this hole.
No. I mean, they're going to win this game on talent alone.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be a really, really ugly, close game.
17-10, 17-14, 17-13 in that range.
Yeah,
20,
but LSU
17.
will probably, unfortunately, just outlast them.
All right, so let's wrap it up right here and say goodbye. We are going to get on a plane and head out to Oklahoma this weekend to cover Alabama at Oklahoma. You can follow us on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com, the Alabama Crimson Tide on SI. We appreciate you doing that. We'll be there with Katie Wyndham and Hunter DeCiver out there at Gaylord Family at Memorial Stadium. And we can't wait for that. We'll be back on Monday with Mason Woods to recap the game, to talk about what went right, what went wrong for Alabama, if the Crimson Tide roll and is still in college football playoff position, or if the world is burning and Alabama was upset. We'll talk about it on Monday right here on the Joe Gaither Show. We appreciate everybody for watching us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, checking us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon. We especially appreciate Derek Daniel and State Farm, Purple Turtle Roofing, and Druid City Music Hall for sponsoring the program today. We'll talk to you on Monday right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.